like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Hi, I'm Brianna.
And I'm Jim.
Welcome to our channel where we repair and restore vintage air-cooled cars and motorcycles.
Join us as we tackle everything from simple repairs and issues to complete restorations.
Today we're going to start disassembling the bed of the truck to see what else we need to work on.
We still haven't decided whether we're going to put a metal bed back on it or whether we're going to do some type of wooden bed. But once we get everything disassembled, then that'll give us a little bit more knowledge about what we have to work with and what we have to replace.
Some of the parts we can buy, some we can manufacture. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to use a spot weld bit to try and get some of the spot welds out. Right here. Bust it up. Right there.
Okay.
Stuck right on this side. See, that moved it. Probably still need more. Lovely. Can you hold it up? This is what we got so far. This is without that skin on it. Now we got to get the other one.
This is what we got left of the cross braces. Obviously they're going to have to be replaced, as well as these braces. All of this will have to be replaced. If we decide to put a wooden bed on it, we're going to drop everything down an inch so the wood bed sets flush with where the top of the metal bed is now. So if we put a wooden bed on it, we're going to have to redo all of this. We may go back with a metal bed just to make it a little bit more simple. But let's get the back half off and see what it looks like. We're going to take a 4.5 inch grinder with the cutoff wheel and go around the outside of the back of the bed and cut the material loose, and then we can drill out the spot welds across and take this off. This is actually rolled over the edge, folded over the edge here. The easiest way to get this off is to cut it and then come back and grind the edge and then slip that off. So that's what we're going to do on this. One word of warning: if you are using a grinder or anything that creates sparks and you smell something burning, chances are it's probably you. I've set myself on fire more times than I would care to remember, so keep that in mind. Watch out if you're throwing sparks, because you could set something on fire. Okay, so we've got the front half of the floor off and we're working on the back half of the floor. Hopefully we'll get that off in just a little bit and we won't bore you with all the drilling out of the spot weld details, but when we get it off we'll show you what's here. All right, so we've got both ends of the deck plate off of the bed. Brianna's going to take the camera and show you kind of what we got to work with. It's pretty much what I thought. Most everything in here structure wise, all the cross members on the top, cross members on the bottom, the front cross member, bottom of the cab, all of that's going to have to be replaced. There's a few places on the frame rails I want to touch up and maybe weld in some stiffeners. Of course, the fuel tank's got to come out. All the metal underneath the fuel tank is rusted. Battery tray, a lot of this is fairly simple to repair, but this work that we've got to do, we've still got to decide whether we're going to make all these pieces or buy them. There again, that depends on what we do with the bed. One concern that I have with a wooden bed is making it watertight for the treasure chest area, so that we don't have to worry about anything we want to carry in the treasure chest getting wet in the rain. Right now it wouldn't be an issue because the water would run out the bottom, but hopefully fixed. There's a lot to do back here, but there again, it's just a matter of taking the time and fixing it the way it should be fixed. So take a look around and let's see what we've got there. We're going to start taking a few more pieces off. One thing that I would caution anybody to do before you start taking off supports or anything like that, take a ton of photos, take measurements, write down your center line to center line measurements on everything so you're not guessing. It's real important if you're replacing a lot of the structure. That way you can put it back in the same location it was. It makes it a whole lot easier. You can never take too many photos because a lot of times you'll get sidetracked on a project and then come back to it 4, 5, 6 months later and you cannot remember how something was. So take photographs and do yourself a favor.
Okay, so the next step is we're going to take all these out. We're going to try to keep as much of the sheet metal as we can, and then we're going to replace or repair anything that we can. And then we're going to do the transaxle, the reduction boxes, the brake lines, the fuel lines, and the wiring.
We've taken as many of the hinges for the gates off as we can with impact wrench. We've got a few of the screws that will need to be drilled out, and then we'll take an easy out and get the screw out. But all these rails are going to be replaced anyway, so if the screw is stuck in there, it's really not going to be an issue. So let's see if we can get these out.
Mission successful. So the screws are stuck in place. So since we're already going to replace this, we're just going to cut them out.
Okay, so we've got the treasure chest door off of this side, and we've got everything loose on the fuel tank, so we're going to pull the fuel tank out now and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
One fuel tank. Okay, here's kind of a walk around of the back of the single cab, showing what we've got at this point. And you can see that there is quite a bit of rust repair to be done, but nothing that can't be fixed with a little work. Okay, we've been taking measurements. We've got all the measurements on the load floor bracing, and we've got all the measurements on the treasure chest bracing, the bracing under the fuel tank. So we've got everything that I think we need before we start tearing everything out. Like I mentioned earlier, take tons of photos. We're going to take more photos just to make sure. You can never have too many. And at that point, we'll be ready to start cutting the back end of this thing completely apart.
This was the end of episode 2.
In the next episode, we start cutting away all of the structure and getting it to the point where we have the frame rails with nothing on them, so we can see what we need to do to the frame rails. So stay tuned for episode 3.